So I want to talk about trust today, but I know you heard about trust from Reverend Katie Michaels a few weeks ago. She was up here in the pulpit, and I listened to that. I watched her video, and she was talking a lot about self-trust, which I think is the first step, is trusting in yourself. But I want to add on to that by talking about how we trust in the community and how that becomes a foundation for what we do. And I hear you had a dose of that yesterday at the rally. So this is timely. And last Monday, a few of us from UUFB went up to a Trans Visibility Day rally in Helena. And what the speaker said over and over again, which I think can apply to anything, that whether you can do a small thing or a large thing, that the important part is to just pick one thing and keep going. That when hate or fear come your way, still get out of bed and do something that furthers the emotional and physical health of yourself and your community. Because sometimes you won't do it for you, but you'll do it for your community. This sermon, which is really a story, is about trusting the process. And as a caution, this story has some really intense moments, but I want you to know it never erupts into violence, and no one is physically hurt in this story. And I want to tell you that up front so that you can relax a little bit as the intense moments kind of tumble out, knowing that the takeaway is going to be joyful. But on the other side of that, I don't want to minimize the emotional stress in this story. Not so much my emotional stress, but the emotional stress for marginalized groups in this story. And I want you to think about this little nugget from it. I don't know why it was unknown author sermon research time, but there's this little quote that just grabbed me. And it said, "Trust is the confident engagement with the unknown." Trust is the confident engagement with the unknown. But I pondered that quite a bit. I was like, I don't know about confident exactly. I mean, I'm kind of thinking I can go with semi-confident. It's a process, and I was thinking about it on a continuum. It's like, okay, confident engagement is here, semi-confident is here. This is like, wow, can I really do this at all? So it's a continuum, I think. It is in that process of just getting there. We're not there. We may never get there. But the important part is we just keep pushing that needle toward this side. And knowing if we slide back for a little bit, we have another chance. So when I thought about what to put in this sermon, I'm actually telling a story about our Pride event in 2023. And I think the reason I want to tell this story is because some of you weren't with us then. You're newer, and I want to tell you a little bit about who we are. But I also think I'm just getting tremendously sentimental that my last day is the 1st of June. And I'm just running these stories through my mind because they're so precious. So I'm talking about the Pride celebration that had come back to Bozeman after being absent for several years because of COVID. And for those of you who are newer to the fellowship, you may not know that this very fellowship was one of the organizers of Montana's very first Pride Parade. Peg, can you tell me what year that was? No. 97. All right. Thank you. And I didn't mean to. 1995. Okay. I didn't mean to put people on the spot, but I knew someone out there knew. Thank you, everybody. So in 2023, that Pride Parade event in Bozeman came on the heels of a lot of LGBTQ hating legislation. So in response, this event popped up in May rather than in June. And one of the parts that they felt it was really important to have was a family-friendly drag show and a story hour at our children's local bookstore. And for those of you who have never been to a family-friendly drag show, it's theater, It's joyful. It's beautiful. It's stunningly beautiful. And I'm not just talking about the costuming and the hair and the makeup, which is the theater part. The joy makes it so beautiful. And so this staging area is off on a side street, going to be off on a side street from Maine. So I pull up early that morning with my vehicle full of stuff that we needed at our UU table. And I knew many of you were meeting me at the UU table quite shortly thereafter. I grabbed this little spot off the alley, and out of the corner of my eye, as I'm ready to shut the back of my hatchback, I see people in black t-shirts, and they are pulling black bandanas over their faces. So this is Montana. I'm assuming they're armed, although I don't totally know that. It's my fear. I don't really know if they are white supremacists. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there are people who want to act like white supremacists, and there is a difference in that. But it's a bit of creating that look of intimidation. And in America, we have free speech and the right to assemble, and they are embracing both. I know they're going up to the library because this had been a social media the day before that this might happen. So I knew the organizers knew, I knew the private security people knew, the Bozeman police knew. So I knew they were going to go up to start up at the library. But anyway, I cross the street. I do find a security person. I tell them what I saw. But you know what? I'm trusting the process. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And we're going to do what we're there to do, which is celebrate. And I already know, because I know Cammie, that the organizers of the event have put a lot of thought into safety. The crowd has a great morning at this Pride. There's lots of joy. There's families with small children. We had great bling at our table. I mean, really good bling at our table. So we had a lot of people that stopped by. And our temporary tattoos were a big hit with the kids. So, and we have the fun of having Bridger Care on one side. Beth Shalom is just right across from us. The Dharma Center is right over from Bridger Care. And then there's the corner. So all of us are having this great interfaith morning. So I'm chatting with this couple. I go out to the corner and I'm chatting with this couple they're holding a toddler. The other parent has the stroller with a massive amount of gear in it. I'm facing them, which means I am looking east on a sunny Bozeman morning. I think it was 95 that day. It should be bright and light. We've had this gorgeous sunny corner. And yet in that moment, I see something that's as dark as a thunderstorm. It's the people that were in the alley, dressed in black, faces covered. We heard they'd been working their way down from the library, and it still took us all aback. As staid as we tried to be, that visual cannot help but take you aback. So reflexively, I have stepped in between the family and the black-shirted people to protect the child. And do not make me out as a hero. I was scared to death. And it was reflexive. I didn't think about it. I didn't make a choice about it. It was just reflexive. So several of these black-shirted people are now yelling their trans-hating rhetoric. One of them body slams my right shoulder. I don't react because I've been trained that you never react to that. You never do something that might provoke more violence. And then I see the organizers have come through and they're giving instructions to people, and then someone turns up the music. You can't hear hating rhetoric if the joyful music is loud enough. And your body will immediately start relaxing if you're dancing, because dancing produces endorphins. So pretty soon, there are all these people out there dancing. And I can see that the people in their black shirts are not getting what I think they want. I'm projecting there, of course, but I think I know what they want, and they're not getting it. because there's joy, there's dancing. I'm still scared, but I'm a lot less scared when I see one of you in this congregation filming with their phone. So there is now a video recording of anything that is going to happen in that moment. So I'm trusting, there's so many pieces of trust in this. The gathered people are trusting the organizers. The gathered people are trusting themselves to know that they're in control of their bodies and they're not going to do anything provocative. Trusting the process and trusting that joy can make its way in to something that's so hard, could have been so hard. And again, I don't want to minimize the emotional worry, and I would imagine for some people pretty terrifying. And then I'm trusting person with the video, and I'm trusting that that's going to paint a little thin veneer on this whole thing. However, remember that little quote, be fully confident in your engagement with the unknown. Nobody was here. I think I can say no one was over here. We're all in the middle, and I would imagine some people are really, really scared and they're down here. The confident or semi-confident engagement. So eventually the organizers and the police and security is taking care of this, and the music is still up. Dancing becomes this manifestation in the people gathered there of trusting each other. And everyone has thrown themselves into this moment of love and rejoicing. The statement is, we can't and won't be pulled away from this joy by hate speech and attempts to intimidate. That's from one of the organizers. I don't know their name. So the mood is trusting love, trusting that love can begin to conquer fear, trusting that by everyone seeing everyone else's inherent worth and dignity, all who are celebrating are accomplishing what had formerly felt close to impossible. Love was everywhere, and it was entirely holding up our human souls. I think this is a moment, there were a lot of us there that day, a lot of people from UUB, FB, and I think it is a moment you can just be incredibly proud of. The rest of this Pride, at this place, the rest of this Pride event ends without incident. I do know there were arrests up by the bookstore. But the arrest is not the takeaway I want for you. And I can't remember if it was that evening or the following evening, and I'm sitting in my apartment with my lovely view of the Bridgers, watching the Rachel Maddow show, and there's a news clip. There is a news clip of the dancers in Bozeman doing this exact thing at that exact moment in time, and I didn't even have to trust my memory because there it was, out on the screen. And I have a glass of wine in my hand, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is just awesome. This is we're not a small town, a medium town in Montana, beating back hatred through joyful celebration until it became almost inconsequential, at least in that moment. In that experience and many other experiences I've had with this fellowship and around town, up in Helena, and other experiences it's had in my life, I go back to this piece by Jeff Foster, which is titled, Somehow I Am Always Held. So this is how he summarizes his confident engagement with the unknown. There are times when I thought I'd never make it, times when my dreams had been shattered so thoroughly I could not imagine how life could ever go on. Yet, it went on. And so, I have come to trust life completely. Trust even the times when I forget how to trust at all. Trust that life doesn't always go according to plan, because guess what? There is no plan sometimes. Somehow I am always held in a way I cannot explain and do not want to. I may be crushed yet again before too long. I may experience further seemingly insurmountable challenges and heartbreaks, but somehow I am always held. So times aren't easy right now. So we still have to practice trusting what is good in trusting ourselves and in trusting in the community here at UUFB and our community at large. That those things, our families, our friends, will continue to uphold us. Let us be challenged to trust that the divine, or whatever binds us together as human beings, whichever of those you prefer, is already at work, weaving beauty in times and places of uncertainty. What if we trusted that transformation doesn't happen all at once? Rather, we shape it day to day and experience by experience. This transformation doesn't wait for perfection and safe conditions. It begins in the gritty messiness of the present moment. It begins with people like us, worried, inspired, sometimes unsure, but still willing to take that one small step toward confident engagement with the unknown. Amen.